Welcome to Tessera, a podcast by Tessera. Here, we're crafting life with tools and purpose. Through real examples, thoughtful tech, and practical strategies, we help you master the craftsmanship of your digital and everyday world. If you're looking for a clear place to start learning how to use AI and other technologies to support your work or home, this is your guide. Along with building resilient systems and carving space for creativity, we explore where transformation begins, one intentional step at a time. Welcome back. This week has been a study in contrasts. On one hand, I'm building databases and researching grants. On the other hand, I'm arguing with iPads. Today, we're talking about friction, how we add it to the things we want to slow down, like screen time, and how we remove it from the things we want to grow, like creative projects and income streams. Let's start with the permissions fight. We've entered a new stage with our youngest where responsible use isn't quite working. So we decided to use the tools. I went into the settings on the iPad and set up app limits, the hard 1 hour a day cap. And then I set up downtime, so no screens between certain hours. And I felt very accomplished. Awesome. And then in the middle of the night, he got up, grabbed his iPad, and was still able to play 3 of the games. The settings almost worked. And there was no reason within them that 3 games should have been excluded, except that I missed a very important button that you have to have a passcode tied to your screen settings. Otherwise, they can just press ignore. And once they've said ignore for the day, you run into a fight against the clock setting. And so I fought with it for about an hour, tried to force the sync, toggled things on and off, restarted, and finally I was tired, I was annoyed. I put the device down and decided to just deal with it the next day. And overnight, the settings refreshed, took effect, and it did what it was supposed to. And then the next morning, the kids asked me, well, why is this iPad so restrictive when the other one lets us just press ignore? I said, well, what do you mean? I thought they had exactly the same settings. And no, they didn't. So we've added passwords, we've added limits. Is a perfect no. They still want in, and obviously there's going to be workarounds that I just don't have the time or energy to worry about. But there is a pause, there is a conversation, and as far as we can tell, they need assistance unlocking the devices now that we have them matched up. But ultimately, digital agency isn't so much about trusting yourself or your kids to have perfect willpower. That's not possible. But if you can build a system that forces yourself to stop and ask, do I really want this? Then the win isn't the rule, it's the friction. While we were locking down screens, we were trying to open up creativity in the kitchen. The kids are bored of their lunches, which are sandwiches, some sort of fruit, snacks, whatever. So I did an act of AI exploration. I took the school's hot lunch menu, which they've been kind of interested in, and then worked with Gemini to say, how can I recreate some of these interesting meals for a packed lunch without them getting soggy? And we got some really good ideas, but that sparked something else. While we were looking at the sourdough sandwich bread that we make, we've been doing that for a few years now. We've got a super easy hands-off recipe. I started wondering about selling sourdough sandwich bread locally because I see a lot of like the round loaves, but not much for actual sandwiches. Years ago, we had multiple small income streams. We scaled back for health reasons, which was right for us, but we've been starting to kind of get that itch to learn and expand and diversify what we're doing. So I used Gemini to analyze our local market for sourdough to figure out, would this be a viable small stream, not like a big, I don't want to do a big production, but if you're already baking weekly and you do a couple extra loaves, it's not much more work, but it could be, a nice little relatively passive income. And so it was pretty cool to have it be able to go out and find me local health rules for the different health agencies in my area, the different selling rules, because what I'm thinking moves me from just kind of a once in a while builder to as soon as you're routine, it gets more business and there's more restrictions on it. And then what is the possible cost, like both cost and profit for something like that. And so what was really neat is that
while I don't want to do it right now, it gave me the information right away to know exactly why I don't want to do it right now. It's not because I don't have the time to research if this would be viable. So it was a really cool use case for it to me. That energy of building has then carried over to work. I had two large tasks in the last couple of weeks. One was doing some grant research, and another was working on a database for a course that I'm doing. And so for the grant, I used AI as a strategist. I pasted in the grant requirements, and it's something that is adjacent to what I'm interested in, but it's not what I've been directly working on. And so I put in my project notes and I asked Gemini, is there alignment and where are the gaps? And so we went through and did a rough outline to see if the project would make sense. And then went through the eligibility requirements in closer detail and saw that it was very geographic location based. And there was areas that were listed right around me, but not my particular city. And so, using the content that we just put together, we were able to draft an eligibility email that I could send out. And while I don't qualify for that particular grant due to my location, it was really cool that I was able to put all that together and get interest in kind of a new area without spending an entire week putting together all the work just to find out that I didn't qualify. And then based on that, I was able to say, okay, I don't qualify for this, but could you find me some similar grants that I might qualify for so that we can kind of start looking out in that area? For the database, I had a bunch of messy ideas and I wanted to link them together. And so I used Gemini as an architect. I explained the mess and I got it to help me visualize a structure for Notion, which turned it from a vague idea into a concrete blueprint. And what was really cool there is that as I started getting each of the sections in this little database up and running, I could also work with it on the visuals to say, well, it doesn't look like I want it to look. And Gemini's image creation has come along quite a ways. So in Notion, you can also add cover images to different places. And I had a very particular idea of what I wanted some things to look like, but I couldn't find a picture that was working for that. And so I was able to describe what I wanted it to look like. And then the Nano Banana image creation in Gemini created it for me. One quick note on image creation in Gemini is that you have to be very particular because its first default is that it wants to describe the image. So instead of saying, hey, can you make me an image for this? I found that I had to be a lot more explicit. Like, I would like you to generate me an image using Nano Banana of, a cedar hope chest or whatever it is that you're looking for. But if I didn't ask it to use that part of the tool, I wasn't reliably getting results. So this week, as we're thinking about the synthesis, with the iPad, we use tech to add friction to stop the mindless gaming in the middle of the night. And we used it for grant research and bread selling ideas to remove friction so we can think about how we want to start building. So this week, I want you to do a friction audit. Find one thing you're doing too much of, scrolling, snacking, worrying, and add friction. Put the app in a folder, put the snacks in the freezer, and find one thing you want to do more of, writing, walking, building, and remove friction. Get your shoes by the door so they're ready to go, or have your document open on startup. When you adjust the friction, you change the flow. Thanks for listening. I hope you go to your settings, adjust them, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks for listening to Tessera. If this episode sparked an idea or helped you forge a new path, we'd love to hear it. Tessera is built by community. Send us your questions, feedback, or stories about how you're using AI or other technologies to simplify your life. Email us at hello@tesseros.com or leave a review on the app where you're listening right now. And if you know someone who's looking to craft their life a little bit differently, please share this episode with them. You can find all episodes, show notes, and extras at tesseros.com/tessera and subscribe through your preferred podcast app. Until next time, keep placing the pieces that matter.